In this video, I want to talk about using Maven with source control. You can see I have the GitHub repository up here, and you can see that I have recently pushed branches. Just giving you an idea as I'm going through recording these, even though you're only seeing a few minutes of content. I think both of these videos were about 5 to 6 minutes long. You can see it takes me about a half hour between those, between my prep and uploading and all that good jazz. So there is quite a bit of work that goes into these, and this is just the recording. It doesn't include all the prep work or the post-production. So recording these videos is a little time consuming, but the main thing I want to talk about in this video is source control. And right now, if I toggle over to IntelliJ, you can see that down in the bottom right-hand side there on Git Site. So I am on the site branch inside of IntelliJ. And you can see here I am also on the site branch, which is exactly what we want. But notice I only have a few files here that are checked into GitHub. So I have the POM, the Maven wrappers, gitignore, source, and then the hidden directory for Maven wrapper. If I come over here to IntelliJ, let's collapse this down, you can see that I have an IML file there, and that is IntelliJ's file. And I also have the target directory. Now, one thing, I have the target directory, and I also have a hidden folder called idea. So these are directories on my system that are not inside of source control. People are beginning out with Maven. One very common mistake I see them making is checking in the target directory. This is something you do not want to do. Do not be that person that goes in and checks in the target directory. That is bad, because the target directory is stuff that Maven generated at runtime. There's absolutely no reason we need to be storing that inside of source control. So never, ever, ever check in that target directory. And actually, it should be excluded. So I am going to set that up right now, because if I wanted to, it is not in my gitignore. Best practice is to add these into gitignore. And I'm going to grab one here. And this is my standard gitignore. So I'm going to come in and do this and paste that in. So now we can see that we picked up quite a bit more stuff here inside of my gitignore, and I'm going to commit that. And this is more comprehensive as far as this is a running file that I had. I've used for a long time, very comprehensive. I think I started with using JHipster. You can see that it includes a lot of directories and files, even for Maven, Gradle, different package files, different windows. Like we definitely don't want to be checking in thumbs.db or any files. Mac OS X has DB, DS stores, and Subversion. So these are all files that we really have no place storing inside of GitHub. And the main thing here is that you can see that IntelliJ is highlighting the target directory. So now I don't think I'll even have an option. Oh, I still have an option to add, but Git would not allow me to add that. So I definitely would not check it in. So just a quick call out here. Best practices, especially using Git, is to add in a gitignore file. And when we are checking things into any type of source control, GitHub in this case, we do not want to be including .idea. That is files that are specific to my idea or my IDE, which happens to be IntelliJ. I do not want to be checking the IML. Eclipse, we can see here, these are a variety of Eclipse files. If you're using Eclipse, don't want to do those. I'm sure NetBeans has their own set. So do not check these in. A lot of people don't ask, do I check in the Maven wrapper? Yes, check that in. We want the .maven and then the two shell scripts. One is for the POSIX operating systems, OS X, Linux, Unix. And then the .cmd, that is going to be running for your Windows. And of course, the Maven POM. So just to highlight this one more time, looking at the repository, you can see I have the wrapper, the source directory, gitignore, and then the two Maven shell scripts and the POM. And do not have any of the IDE files or the target files. It's very important there not to be checking those in. And at the end of this video, I will check this in under a new branch for the gitignore so you can see the changes between the two. I do like using this gitignore file because it is very comprehensive of what to check in and more explicitly what not to check in.